Churuli starts with a strange story about a Nambuthari who enters a forest searching for a supernatural being called Perumadan. While traveling through the forest, he finds what looks like a rolled-up animal. But suddenly, the creature speaks to him and shows him another path. The Nambuthari follows it deeper into the forest, not realizing that the creature itself is Perumadan in disguise. Soon, he becomes completely lost inside the forest. This opening story seems unrelated at first, but it actually gives us a huge clue about what will happen later. Because Churuli is ultimately about people entering a strange place, following the wrong path, and becoming trapped in a cycle they don't understand. The actual story begins with two undercover police officers, Antony and Shajivan. They are sent on a secret mission to find a criminal named Myladumparambil Joy, who is believed to be hiding in the remote forest village of Churuli. They hide their real identities and travel there pretending to be workers going to work for a man named Thankin. On the way, they cross a bridge and enter the isolated village. But almost immediately, something feels wrong. The people they meet behave strangely and constantly use extremely vulgar language. Their attitude is completely different from normal society. Even more strangely, Shajivan starts feeling that he has seen this place before, although he supposedly has never been there. Antony and Shajivan begin staying in the village while waiting for Thankin and secretly searching for Joy. But the longer they stay, the stranger everything becomes. The villagers seem to know more about them than they should. Shajivan also begins experiencing disturbing visions. He sees strange figures, lights, and mysterious objects that look almost alien. At one point, he notices bizarre rotating machinery and lights inside a house. Meanwhile, the officers try to behave normally and continue their investigation. But Churuli slowly starts changing them too. The normal rules of society seem to disappear inside this village. Violence, cruelty, and vulgar behavior are treated almost like ordinary things. And Shajivan begins to fit into this strange world much more easily than Antony. As the days pass, Shajivan becomes involved in the strange activities of the villagers. During a local celebration, he takes part in a violent slap fighting game. Every time he is slapped, he experiences disturbing visions, including places and people that seem strangely familiar. This makes us question whether Shajivan has actually been to Churuli before. Later, Antony gets injured, and they take him to a mysterious healer's hut. The place looks exactly like something Shajivan had already seen in his visions. This is an important clue because it suggests that his visions may not simply be dreams. Somehow, Shajivan may already be connected to Churuli and its strange events, even though he cannot remember what happened to him before. The situation becomes even more disturbing when one of the villagers disappears and is later found dead. The officers also become involved in a hunting trip where Shajivan behaves like someone who is already familiar with the forest. Antony, meanwhile, struggles to understand what is happening around them. Slowly, their secret identities begin to come under suspicion. The villagers become hostile and eventually surround the two officers. Shajivan realizes they can no longer continue pretending to be ordinary workers. He finally reveals that they are police officers. The villagers become furious, and the situation nearly turns into a mob attack. Shajivan takes out his gun and fires, shocking everyone. But even after being shot, some villagers behave in a strangely unnatural way. During the confrontation, Thankin finally admits that he is not Joy. He tells the officers that the real Myladumparambil Joy is staying at his house. Antony and Shajivan force Thankin to take them there, while the angry villagers follow behind. When they reach the house, they finally meet Joy. But instead of finding a dangerous criminal, they see a man lying on a bed, apparently paralyzed and unable to move. Thankin and his wife beg the policeman to leave him alone, but Shajivan refuses. The villagers continue behaving strangely, laughing and provoking the officers. Shajivan fires again, but the reaction of the villagers is completely unnatural. It feels as though the entire village is under some kind of strange influence. Suddenly, Joy says that he is willing to surrender and leave Churuli with the policeman. Antony and Shajivan tie him up and put him inside the jeep. They believe their mission is finally over and that they can return to civilization. But there is one major problem. They cannot find the road they originally used to enter Churuli. The wooden bridge they crossed earlier seems to have disappeared. The forest road now looks completely different. With no other option, they depend on Joy to guide them out. And this is where Joy begins telling them a strange story. His story sounds very similar to the opening tale about the Nambuthiri and Perumadin. But this time, Joy changes the characters and makes the story about two policemen who enter a forest searching for a criminal. As Joy continues his story, something terrifying becomes clear. The road they are traveling on is not a normal road. It keeps twisting and turning deeper into the forest, forming a spiral. No matter how far they travel, they seem to remain trapped inside the same place. Joy explains the situation through his story, suggesting that what is happening now has happened before. The people who enter Churuli become part of a repeating cycle. The story of the Nambuthiri was actually a warning about this cycle. The person who thinks he is hunting the monster may eventually become trapped by it. And now, Antony and Shajivan seem to be repeating exactly the same journey. Then comes one of the strangest moments in the entire movie. Joy, who was supposedly paralyzed and unable to walk, suddenly recovers. He frees himself from the ropes and appears completely normal. Antony stops the jeep after seeing mysterious glowing lights moving through the forest. The lights gather together in the sky and form something resembling a bright moon. At this point, reality itself seems to break apart. Antony and Shajivan can no longer understand whether they are awake, dreaming, or inside another world. The strange lights, Shajivan's earlier visions, and the mysterious machinery he saw earlier all seem connected. But the movie deliberately refuses to give us a simple explanation for what these things actually are. In the final moments, Joy closes his eyes, and strangely, Shajivan does the same. The positions of Joy and Shajivan appear to switch, suggesting that their identities or roles have somehow been exchanged. The jeep then begins moving in an impossible, almost floating spiral toward the strange light in the sky. The three men appear to become part of this mysterious world. The ending suggests that the cycle has started again. Shajivan, who entered Churuli as a policeman searching for Joy, may now have taken Joy's place in the cycle. Antony could become the next person who is brought into Churuli. The film never confirms exactly whether this is an alien experiment, a supernatural trap, a time loop, or something else. And that's what makes Churuli so mysterious. The movie ends, but the cycle doesn't. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Maluflix for more hidden Indian movie stories and unforgettable cinema. Maluflix, stories that stay.